What's good, Raider Nation? Chef Mike's back. Episode number 10, albondigas. So it's starting to get cold outside, so I want to do some soups. This is one of my favorite soups my grandma used to make for us all the time. I kind of took a little bit, twisted it up a little bit to make it a little easier. And we're going to use the Ninja air fryer today, which is one of my favorite tools. So we'll be talking about that and why I'm using it. So some people don't like splatter all over the place when they're sauteing meatballs, so we're going to use that and utilize it. Also, we're going to use some minute rice in our stuff, so that way it makes it a little easier. We're going to have to make the rice, and it turns out hard. I can't stand when you get a meatball that has crunchy rice in the center, so we're going to eliminate that. So what we're going to do start with is we're going to start with some ground beef. So I've got approximately 2 pounds of ground beef here we're going to use. It's going to go right into a bowl. And then, like I was saying earlier, we got some minute rice here, and this is already pre-cooked. It usually cooks in a minute. So if you put it in the microwave, it cooks fast. We don't want to cook it right now because we are going to actually cook it. So we don't really need to mess with that. And we're going to go in with a few seasonings. We got some lemon pepper, a little bit of Chef Mike's seasoning, a little bit of granulated garlic, and a little bit of seasoning salt. And you can always adjust your flavor. So once you make meatballs, I always take a little saute pan, I'll put it on the side, and then I'll taste a little sample of it and cook it. So that way I know if I got enough flavor, because you want to make sure you have all the flavor, because meatball soup is, everything is in the meatball. So you want to make sure your meatball comes out perfect. So we're going to test this afterwards, and we'll put a couple eggs in there too. And this is going to be our binder. 2 eggs. Then we're going to put a little fresh cilantro. Set this aside so you can see. Then we're going to use a little bit of fresh mint too. The mint gives it a great flavor. Some people just use mint. I like to add a little bit of cilantro to it because it just gives it a little bit more flavor as well. But the mint definitely, if you put too much mint, it'll go a long way. So just enough to give it a good flavor. The mint gives it like a nice bright taste. It smells delicious too. We're just going to cut this up nice and fine. Just like so. Add that into our meatballs. Okay, and then we're just going to mix this up. So don't be scared to get your hands in there because you want to get all this mixed in real thorough. So I'm going to get all into this. And then we'll be right back. I'm going to go ahead and get a sheet pan ready, and then we're going to make some meatballs. So be back here in a few seconds. All right, so now we got our mixture perfect. I tasted a little bit while you were gone, and it tastes perfect. So what we're going to do now is make our meatballs. In order to make them uniform, you can use a nice little scooper like this. This is probably about a 2-ounce scooper. So what we're going to do is just kind of grab some of this here. Make sure it's all mixed up nicely. Let's grab a scooper. I'll pop it out. Just roll them up. Place them onto our sheet pan here. We want to get all this ready ahead of time because when we make our soup, actually start cooking our vegetables, we want to be able to pay attention to everything because vegetables cook at certain different times. So we don't want to have mushy vegetables. We want to always cook it in a different manner. So I have steps that I use when I'm cooking my veggies. I want to make sure everything comes out crisp and yummy, so it's not some of them mashed and some of them are not completely done yet. So I'm going to go ahead and scoop these up here, and we'll be right back to start the soup. So see you in a second. All right, guys, we're back. We got those meatballs rolled up. Now we're going to cut up some veggies and start our soup. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut me 1 jalapeno. This one I definitely want to take the seeds out of. This is just going to go right into the soup just like this. You don't need to dice it up or anything. I just want all the flavor from it. Okay, so we got that. We got some carrots that I peeled already, so we're going to do this kind of a nice thicker chop. So, like I said, the soup's gonna cook for a little bit, so that's why I'm cooking them a little bit thicker, cutting them, not big dices. I just want them to cook and get that flavor and not disintegrate in the soup. Top off that guy. This is a good staple for any soup too. I mean, carrot, celery, and onion is the start to many good soups. So all the flavor from the veggies. So these we're just gonna do a nice coarse chop as well. Slide that over, and we're gonna go with an onion. Same with this, we want some bigger cuts on it. I don't want a small dice on this. I just want to probably go into fours with this. I want the flavor of everything. And the body of the soup, like I said, you got the meatballs and everything in there, so you want to make sure you have some nice veggies to go in there, like so. So we go into chunks like that. There we go. Perfect. All right, so now we're gonna go in the soup, and we're gonna go ahead and start the process and make the broth and everything, and then we'll come back, we'll cut some potatoes. The potatoes are gonna be next because they do take a little bit longer to cook, so we'll cut those up here in a sec. And then also we got some zucchini, and then we have some cabbage. Zucchini doesn't take very long to cook, and it turns to mush real fast, so you don't wanna add this until we get all the rest of the veggies cooked, the broth to the right taste that we want it, and then the meatballs go into the soup. Once the meatballs hit the soup, then the zucchini will hit it. Then at the end, we'll finish it with a little bit of cabbage. So we'll be right back. All right, guys, we're gonna get our pan nice and hot. We're gonna go in with our veggies. I got some avocado oil in there. Just gonna get all of our veggies right in there. All right, notice I have some diced tomatoes here. We're gonna use a little bit of chicken broth, and then I also have some, a little bit of chicken bouillon that I'm gonna use. So we're gonna stir this up here. Give it a second, we'll be right back and show you how everything else gets in there. So now that it's sauteing up, we're gonna put a little bit of seasoning in here. So I have a little fresh, I shouldn't say fresh, dry oregano, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of lemon pepper, a little bit of my seasoning. Mix that around. Going with our 1 can of tomatoes. Going with a little bit of chicken bouillon. Get all those flavors married together, and then we'll add in our chicken broth. That around. The key is to remember you got a lot of stuff to put in here still. We still got some zucchini and stuff, so I don't want to go too much. So you're going to overfill it. So I'm probably just going to do 1 1/4. And if I need more, I can add some later. We're going to start with that. We're going to get all of our flavors in there. Let that cook, and then everything will soften up. I'm going to go ahead and cut up my potatoes right now. We'll add those to there. We'll be right back to cook up the meatballs. Alright guys, now we're going to cut up a couple of potatoes to go in there. I'm just going to quarter these because they're kind of smaller. So go with the red potato. You can use whatever potatoes you have on hand. They don't have to necessarily be the red potatoes. I like the red potatoes because you don't have to sit here and peel them. So you can eat the whole potato without having to peel and peel. Everybody knows how much I hate peeling potatoes, so we're gonna go with that. So let's cut these up in quarters, and like I said, I want to add these now because I want to make sure that they cook. So I'm going to throw these in the pot real quick. Perfect. And then what we're going to do too is we're going to add a little bit of lime juice to this. So I'm going to go ahead and get this guy out. Go right in there and add 1 full lime to get some of the flavors out of everything. We're gonna let this cook for approximately, I'd say 5 to 10 minutes. You kind of want to keep checking on everything, because if you don't check it, obviously, like I say, we're not gonna miss a stage. So I'm gonna keep stirring, keep checking my vegetables. We have a Ninja air fryer today that we're gonna use. We're gonna use that for our meatballs. So we got all the meatballs here. These we can actually start cooking right now because we want to cook them till they're just about done, not all the way. So I'm going to show you that right now. So let's come on over and we'll show you what's going on. All right, so now we're going to add the food to the air fryer. So we're going to open this up. I got it lightly greased. I'm going to stick in our meatballs. Like I said, the nice thing about this is all the grease goes to the bottom, so you're not sitting there floating in grease. So we'll stick all these in there, and it's gonna cook them nice and crisp. They're gonna shrink a little bit too, so don't worry about that. So we'll add a couple of them up here. That's all of them. So we'll go ahead and shut this guy. I got it set at 400 degrees for 12 minutes. We'll check them probably around 7 minutes just to see where they're at, but we'll be right back. Remember, you don't want them cooked all the way. All right, so the cool thing about the Ninja is it does shut off when you set it. So we're gonna go ahead and look at these guys. Those are absolutely perfect. Got a nice little crisp outer, so they're not fully cooked all the way through. And this is what we want. We want them to look just like this. So we're gonna stick these inside the soup now. So we'll see you in a second. So now that these are all added in there, like I said, I'm going to give them a stir. Let them finish in here. The potatoes are about halfway done to 3/4 done. That's what we want, everything to be done at the same time. So now I'm going to cut up some zucchini and we're going to add that to it. All right, guys, we're back. Let's cut up the zucchini here because we're going to add this in now. So we got the meatballs going. Just gonna go just like so. Some slices. Perfect. I'm gonna go right into the pan with this. So we got one last ingredient that we're gonna put in, but it's gonna be at the very end. So we'll add some cabbage to the end. I love cabbage because it gives the soup a great flavor. So give me a few minutes. We're almost done with the soup. We'll stir it around and we'll bring our friend in and give it a taste test. All right, now that our soup's almost ready, we're gonna add the final touches to it. We're gonna go ahead and put some cabbage in there. So I'm just gonna cut this cabbage up. Perfect. We're gonna go right into the pot with this. If you don't like cabbage, you don't have to do this, but I love cabbage. It makes the soup just that much better. So we're gonna go ahead and put that in there, stir it around, and we'll be back here in about 5 minutes to finish it up. All right, guys, I'm back. We got our friend Teddy here. Hi, Teddy.
Hello, thanks for having me back.
Yes, thanks for coming back. And first thing I want to tell you is albondigas soup. Have you ever tried albondigas before?
I have not.
Awesome. I love when people come in and they've never tried something like this. So thanks for stepping out the box and trying this. So tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you do?
Well, I'm a jack of all trades. I'm a financial coach. I help family kind of get, their finances in order, plan for the future, life insurance, retirement, all that fun stuff. I'm also a hairstylist. I braid hair, all different
Can you
kind
fix
of
this?
style. We could work with glue.
Awesome. Well, Teddy, this is what I want you to do. I want you to start with the meatball because there's a lot of complex stuff in here. So let's go ahead and take a bite into this. So what I like to do is there's a little tortilla on the left there. Just grab that with your left hand.
Okay.
So start there.
Okay.
And then you're going to dip into that little juice there, so that nice broth. And then you're going to take some of that meatball and kind of eat it simultaneously. And that's kind of the way we do it. You're going to get a taste of all the juice, the broth, the flavor. And then the meatball.
Ooh, I could totally taste the celery already.
Already, just tasting the tortilla. So let's go into that meatball. The meatball's got a lot of stuff in there. So if you've never had this before, obviously you're going to taste. I'll let you tell us what you taste.
Oh wow. There's a gush of flavors in there. Oh my god.
So how does that flavor, like the mint, come in and the cilantro and all that stuff?
You know what though? The mint actually came after, like the onions. The mint totally, like it's like an aftertaste. The smell and everything, it's so good.
Perfect. So next thing, let's try one of the veggies. So we got some zucchini in there. You can try that.
Some zucchini, some potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Some cabbage. Oh my god. And the cheese.
Yep, it's got to add that little creaminess to it. Some people don't like cheese in theirs. I do.
I love cheese.
Perfect.
I put cheese on everything. You know what though? I'm not a fan of zucchini, but I would have this every day.
Perfect. See, and zucchini's got a lot of flavor, and then you add that with the cheese and everything, and then, like I said, I didn't make it mushy. A lot of people, it's a texture thing.
I like the crunchiness.
Perfect. So it's got that little bit of crunch. So like I said, this whole key to making this soup is just kind of timing. Adding everything at the right time, making sure nothing's not mush, because even my own kids, if I make zucchini and it's mush, they won't eat it. So thanks for trying it out and continue to eat. And you guys, we're going to go for show 11 here soon too. So thanks for hitting the subscribe button. Tell your friends. We're almost at 200 people. Hit subscribe. We'll see you soon. Thanks for coming out, Teddy.
Subscribe.